keep your friends close and your enemies closer. A quote that seemingly stands the test of time. But what happens in the case of your friend also being your enemy at the same time? Some of us are fortunate enough to make lifelong friends as we progress through school. Others create friendships at work or through recreational means. Nonetheless, these are people who you trust. They know your strengths and your weaknesses. In essence, they know you. With this knowledge, however, there are always two choices that can be made. Either let it fade just like the friendship, or use that knowledge against the very person you once stood beside. To describe a relationship in which the latter happens, then look no further. The friendship between Claudia and Vincent is one that, much like the real world, was beneficial for both parties. Yet somewhere down the line, it became nothing more than an anchor they both would drag around until the very end. As a priest of the order, Vincent projects himself in a well-dressed manner as he also manages the finances of the church. His long-sleeved collared shirt paired with a brown vest and pants give him a very clean and neat appearance. Seeing Vincent makes me think of a man who uses his brains more than his brawn to achieve his responsibilities. And while not stated in the Claudia analysis video, Vincent's age is estimated to be around 24 to 26, while Claudia's age is 29. Perhaps due to the overall atmosphere and lighting of the game, I had always thought of these characters as quite a bit older. While not much is given in context of Vincent and his upbringing, it is highly speculated that Vincent grew up with Claudia by some capacity. With Claudia being the older of the two, perhaps at some point she took Vincent under her wing and showed him that life can be beautiful. Where the split happened later in life will forever be unknown to us as the player, but I will dive more into that split as we look at the most important scenes of Vincent Smith in Silent Hill 3.
Heather. That's what you're called now, isn't it?
And who are you?
The name's Vincent. Don't forget it, okay? I'm on your side.
So you say. But how do I know you're not with her?
Her? You mean Claudia? Please don't lump me together with her. She was totally brainwashed by that crazy old hag.
There is quite a lot to unpack here in our first introduction to Vincent. Did you take note of how animated he is? His body moves with every sentence. Majority of the characters in the Silent Hill universe do not move half as much as he does. He also presents himself as calm and collected, but by a simple statement of Claudia, his vocal tone and actions change completely.
I guess crazy old hag is a bit harsh. She is your mother, after all.
My mother? What do you mean?
You don't remember? So Harry didn't tell you anything. I guess he hid the truth to keep you on his side, eh? That figures. He's a pretty sneaky guy.
As Vincent converses with Heather, we see him methodically come closer to her. It appears he is trying to close the gap between them to provide her with a sense of security. In other words, do not fear me, I have nothing to hide. As he comes closer though, all of his statements are open-ended. He makes comments about Dahlia and Harry as if he expected Heather to have already known that information about her parents. But his way of conversation is not to disclose information. It is instead geared towards baiting information out of Heather. Unfortunately for him, this tactic does not play out as he wanted it to, as he quickly crosses the line.
Don't talk about my dad like that!
Sorry, I apologize. Please, calm down.
How do you know my father anyway?
I know everything. I know about your past, too.
Then tell me what's going on.
You don't know even that?
That's why I'm asking. If you know everything, then tell me how I can put an end to this.
Not yet. Why not enjoy yourself a bit longer?
Enjoy? I feel like I'm going crazy. Does this place get to you at all?
Oh, it gets to me, all right. I find it most fascinating. Wait! I'm not finished talking!
I knew you were on her side.
How do you figure?
There's something wrong with you, too.
Why did you send her to my father?
Was that wrong?
It's your fault that he...
Oh, but surely it's a good thing. It means he was one of God's beloved, no?
As Claudia and Vincent converse at Jack's inn, we get to hear and see the real side of him. His actions to Claudia is infuriating, and when confronted with those facts, he acts in a condescending manner. One in which takes Claudia's beliefs and plays with them as if they are nothing more than wishful thinking.
Think God is going to save you? Ha!
What do you know anyway?
I know about the pleasures of this world. And I want to find my happiness while I'm still here. You hated your father, didn't you? I saw the way he hit you, and kicked you, and made you cry.
While not important to the scene, take note of Vincent's shadow here. Doesn't it remind you of the lunch lady at school with her hairnet on?
The memory of his cruelty is forever burned into my mind.
Vincent's demeanor during this whole conversation is odd. Not only did he start off by toying with Claudia as he knows how to get underneath her skin, but he also brings up trauma from her past. No one randomly brings up specific events from the past unless triggered by a present day event or, in Vincent's case, for pure humiliation. I would not classify this as manipulation due to the delivery of that last line. It is sarcastic, insensitive, and most of all, vile. In a way, however, I do see a direct similarity to Claudia here. Both are projecting their beliefs onto another party.
Yes, yes, and that's why we need God.
What you call faith is nothing more than a child crying out for love. That's why you're all alone.
You don't understand. None of you do.
The purpose of this scene is to show us how Vincent once again steers Heather into the direction he wants her to go in. But this meeting, much like the first, is different. While he could be doing a nice thing for Heather, we know it's not in his nature to camp out in her hotel room unless it is for a reason.
No, just me. Don't you want to know what the message is?
Yeah, what did he say?
The church is on the other side of the lake. Hiya, Heather.
You show up everywhere, don't you?
You make me sound like some kind of unwanted pest.
Well, who are you anyway?
Haven't you realized that yet?
Yeah, you're on Claudia's side.
I told you not to put me in the same category as that mad woman.
Well, you're pretty loony yourself.
It's true. We believe in the same God. But I'm quite sane.
That is quite a big stretch of one's imagination to claim that they are sane, though they are the priest in the order. Moving on though, Vincent's approach in the scene is quite different than the previous ones. Not only does he show little to no expression in his body language, but his words as well seem a bit, well, detached.
So why did you help me out then? Was that also part of trying to resurrect God?
It's not uncommon for people to worship the same God and still disagree.
God? Are you sure you don't mean devil?
Whichever you like. The point is that now I really am on your side. I don't want God to be born. Wouldn't be convenient. Much too unpredictable.
So you've been using me to stop Claudia, is that it? Do your own dirty work.
My dirty work? I think we both had our own interests in mind. You hate her too, don't you? You're the only one who can get it done. I don't have powers like you two. Besides, I always hated getting all hot, sweaty.
Oh, really?
I'm just looking out for myself. Everyone does it. Don't stand there looking so smug. You're the worst person in this room. You come here and enjoy spilling their blood. And listening to them cry out.
With such a simple comment, we see Vincent drop his act immediately and return to his more animated and conniving self. What is most alarming about this response, however, is how over the top it is in comparison to the previous conversations before.
You feel excited when you step on them and snuff out their lives.
Are you talking about the monsters?
Monsters? They look like monsters to you?
Oh no.
Don't worry. It's just a joke.
This scene is more so describing a man that is quite nervous for what may come. The goal he wanted to achieve all along may finally be fulfilled. Also, the line regarding the monsters of Silent Hill has been a fascinating line to me. It much more ties into a realm of perception, so I will not go into detail about this in this analysis.
By the way, I forgot to ask you. Did you get the seal of Metatron?
What's that?
You don't have it? Leonard was carrying it.
You mean this thing?
Yes, that's it. As long as we have that, we're fine. Here, take this. What do I want? Well, for the two of you to die, that would be nice. Then I could relax.
When did you stop believing in God? God lives. Just look around you.
But I do believe in her. In my own way. I fear her, and I adore her, but I haven't lost my mind like you. You think that this is the work of God? Isn't this all nothing more than your own personal nightmare, just like Alessa 17 years ago? If this really is the work of God, then I'd say she has lousy taste.
In Vincent's final scene, we once more get to observe him in what I deem his true form. Not only is he back to being very animated, but he continues to condescend Claudia and her beliefs. Do not get me wrong, each of us are entitled to our own, but there is a difference between acknowledging that fact and moving on versus outright mocking another over their opinions.
You mock God? Traitor. You will go to hell.
Not that again! Who do you think you are, claiming to know God's will?
Go home, Vincent.
Home. This church is my home. I built it with my power. The power of money that you view with such scorn. Although I admit that this atrocious scenery is all yours.
If you continue to get in my way,
Then you kill me? Well,
As Vincent strives to dig the nail that he has embedded into Claudia deeper, now Heather enters the room. Notice Claudia has warned him to go home, and he continues to provoke her as if he believes she is not capable of hurting him. But what is most peculiar about the scene is how startled Vincent is once Heather simply walks into the room. His instant reaction shows that not only is he projecting himself to be more robust than he is, but also that he is more terrified than anything else.
well. The guest of honor has arrived. Let's get this party started. Heather, go ahead and kill this crazy bitch. This demon who claims to speak for God. The time has come. You can kill her now.
you'll go to hell!
In the end though, Vincent's master plan backfires, and as a result, it's his own death that he mistakenly planned. Throughout Silent Hill 3, we encountered him skillfully planting his seeds of devastation, but it was for his own demise. Perhaps things would have turned out, well, differently for him if he put more brawn instead of brains into his plan. We all can learn a very valuable lesson from Vincent. Do not turn your back on a person you have burned bridges with, as no matter how smart you think you are, your own arrogance will literally stab you in the back.